have you the same. Thank you.
All right.
Loud and clear, Victor. Tell me.
All right, watch this orb. It glitches out.
I have you the same. Thank you.
And then there's orbs flying all over the place. What was that? And then look at this thing spinning around, coming behind it. And then that one seems to kind of stay more stationary. And this one on the right starts kind of taking off and then disappears. Gone.
All right, Shalom. First off, I want to start off by saying all praises, honor, and glory is due unto Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Karkadash. Just all praises to the world calls God, whose true name in the Hebrew is Yahweh, by Hashem being in the name, Yahushai being the name of the only begotten Son. I also want to say double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and mercy to the hopeful like preaching word and truth and sincerity on the brother Tazabah, the Great Millstone, Arizona camp. And the heathen getting shaky, right? We almost out of here. The extent of which they see the chariots of the Lord, they're hiding from people because, you know, it's just only going to validate a certain group of men's words, which is Great Millstone through the elders and apostles, right? And I briefly touched on this at camp. You even had, what is his name? Not J.D. Vance. Yeah, J.D. Vance sit there and say that he believed. Slack you, bro. I'm tired. J.D. Vance even said he believed that the chariots, so-called UFOs, that those are demons flying around the earth, but he had to get down to the bottom of it. Now, peep this article. It says Congressman claims if Americans saw alien reports he was shown, this country would have come unglued. You'd be up at night. There's a movie called Disclosure Day, and I'm gonna read this before we get the trailer for it. And this is basically what they detail in it. A copyright disclaimer under Title 17 U.S.C. Section 107, allowances made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. So let's get this movie for Disclosure Day. All right, this is a trailer for it.
If you found out we weren't alone, if someone showed you, proved it to you, would that frighten you?
Good morning, Kansas City. Let's take a look at today. Today's.
People have a right to know the truth. It belongs to 7 billion people.
What is it?
You wouldn't believe me if I told you. So I'm gonna show you.
What are you gonna do?
Full disclosure to the whole world. All at once.
And that's really what that movie is about. It's about letting everybody know that so-called aliens and everything like that are real, right? And that's what he's talking about. There's a day of full disclosure coming where Esau even is going to use that to use his Project Bluebeam to push a narrative as well. Because these things aren't being hidden no more. This is too much happening. These things are getting closer and closer. With wars kicking off, the scriptures tell you that the angels, right? Get it, man. Trying to remember what that scripture. This ain't really the one I really want, but I mean it details it. This is Revelation 16:12. It says, and the sixth angel poured out his vial upon the great river Euphrates, and the waters thereof was dried up, and that's happened. Euphrates is dried up. It says the way of the kings of the east might be prepared. And I saw three unclean spirits like frogs going into the three city states, right? The Vatican representing the false prophet, the military state, which is basically America, and the financial going into Great Britain, right? But really, the point I wanted in this precept right here was Revelation 16:12, right? Because those angels are actually out there working on the minds of the kings of the east, doing their work to get this war really boiling up. And you can't walk away from that, man. You can't walk away from that. And that's what's happening all throughout the world. So when you see these chariots coming up and they're talking about reports like this, just know, hey, we almost out of here, man. It says a U.S. congressman is drawing attention after making unusual blunt remarks about what he says he has learned in classified briefings on unidentified aerial phenomena, UAPs. Speaking about the issues, Representative Tim Burchett of Tennessee suggested that the information shared behind closed doors is far more unsettling than what the public has been told. According to the article published by Burchett said, if you were privy to some of the information that I've seen, you'd be up at night. His comments added to the growing wave of political interest in UAPs, a term the government now uses instead of UFOs, while officials have acknowledged encounters with unexplained objects. Much of the data remains classified, fueling speculation and concerns. Well, we'll tell you what they are. Right? These are the same things that when you go to the book of Ezekiel, he saw. Ezekiel, the first chapter. In verse 3, it says, the word of Yahweh came expressly unto Ezekiel the prophet, the son of Buzai, in the land of the Chaldeans by the river Chebar, and the hand of Yahweh was there upon him. And I looked, and behold, a whirlwind come out of the north, a great cloud, and a fire enfolding itself, and a brightness of it, brightness was about it, and out of the midst thereof, as the color of amber, and out of the midst of the fire. So he saw that chariot coming in as a cloud enfolding upon itself, breaking through the skies. He saw the color of it, the size. Also out of the midst thereof came the likeness of four living creatures. This is really just going into the angels. And this was the appearance. They had the likeness of man, going into the understanding that a man has. and every one had 4 faces, and every one four wings. And it goes into the 4 faces, and it says, and their feet were straight feet, right? I'm talking about the shoes that they had, those kind of, because it goes into right here. It says, and the soles of their feet was like the soles of a calf's foot, just like you have those split toe boots. And they sparkle like the color of burnished brass, the skin color. This is what's in those chariots. This is what you got to be afraid. You Edomites got to be afraid of. Because those are the chariots of salvation. The Lord said, "What was he mad against the rivers? We'll get it." I want to go down on this. I want to jump down. Now I'm going to jump down to, it really goes into the visions of the angels quite a bit. All right, I'm going to jump down to verse 16. It says, the appearance of the wheels, this is talking about the chariots, and their work was like unto the color of beryl. Beryl goes in, emerald type of color, that light translucent blue, all type of stuff. It says, and they 4 had one likeness, and the appearance in their work was as it were a wheel in the middle of a wheel. Right? So these things were flying on their side, just like they detail flying saucers. Well, they had these things too. This is what's coming to crack the clouds. This is what it is. And he's probably heard the report about there was a testimony or something that happened where a man came down, claimed that he was a angel of the Lord, which I believe this thing to be true. He showed up, and they ended up actually chopping him up and everything like that. And then while they were on a plane, he popped up in the plane again, all whole. And it terrified these devils. You know damn well they've been reading into those reports and seeing these things, and they always say the same thing. It was a so-called black man, right? It says when they went upon their 4 sides, and they turn not while they went. And that's what you be seeing when you see these chariots. They don't need a turn, right? There's no stop and a tilt just to move and maneuver. No, these things go whatever way, whichever direction, at whatever speed they please. They brighten up the sky, they dim it down, they go behind the clouds, they disappear. See, for Esau, this means the end. Esau, this is the curse. Zechariah 5 and 1, it says, and I turned and lifted up my eyes, and behold, and looked, a flying roll. Right? And that's what he saw. It looked like a tubular chariot, something that was in the shape of a tube. And says, and he said unto me, what seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll. The length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof 10 cubits. Right? Then said he unto me, this is the curse that goeth over the face of the whole earth, that for everyone that stealeth shall be cut off as on this side according to it. And Esau's the biggest thief of the earth. So he's about to be cut off by those chariots. And everyone that sweareth shall be cut off on that side according to it. Because these things are coming to bring judgment, man. Judgment. This world needs judgment, man. It's just nothing's pure, nothing's honest in this world. The only thing that's pure is this truth. That's the only thing that's real and honest, man, is this truth. Everything else is just lies, debauchery, It promotes wickedness. This is why the chariots got to come, man. Let me get this, man. Because when Habakkuk saw these things, this is what he said. This is Habakkuk 3. I started 3. It says the Most High came from Teman. That's a place of Esau, Edom, and the Holy One from Mount Paran. Salah, his glory covered the heavens, and the earth was filled full of his praise. And how did his glory cover the heavens? Well, when you go into let me get this. Isaiah 63 and verse 1. Where am I at? There it is. Isaiah 63 and 1. It says, "Who is this that cometh from Edom with dyed garments from Basra?" Then when you read the book of Revelation, it talks about how the Lord treaded the wine fat alone. That dyed garments is going into the blood that's going to be shed. It's allegorical speech, but the Lord is literally going to spill a lot of heathen blood, especially of Edom. And America is that place of Edom. This that is glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength. Right? That's that glory covering the heavens. Traveling the greatness of his strength. The Lord said what? He's going to come with his thousands of heaven. We can grab that. This is 2nd Ezra 13. Go back to the Habakkuk 3 in a minute. 2nd Ezra 13 and 2. It says, "Lo, there arose a wind from the sea, and it moved all the waves thereof. And I behold, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. When he turned his countenance to look, all things trembled that were seen under him." And that man is Yahushua. Even in the book of Revelation, it details how the Lord was going to come. Right? In his full strength, his full glory, with his army. Habakkuk chapter 3 in 4 again, and it says, "And his brightness was as the light, and he had horns coming out of his hand, and there was the hiding of his power because those laser beams." I'm going to jump down. It says, verse 7. It says, "And I saw the tents of Cushan in affliction, and the curtains of the land of Median did tremble. Was Yahweh displeased against the rivers? Was thine anger against the rivers? Was thy wrath against the sea, that thou didst ride upon thy horses and thy chariots of salvation?" You see, these things can bring wrath to the heathen, but for the elect, these are going to be chariots of salvation, man. You can read that in the New Testament where it says they were caught up. No, I think it's actually yeah. 1 Thessalonians 4 and 16. It says, "Yahweh himself descended from heaven with a shout, and with a voice of the archangel, and the trumpet of the Most High, and the dead in the Mashiach shall rise first." So you see bros that died on this side, King Masha, other brothers, man. The man, one of my favorite teachers passed away last year. He was in a New York camp, man. And you could tell he was sickly for years, man. I saw a video of him when he was younger before I came in. I was like, damn. That's where the elders started, man. He's going to be one of those men that rise first. It says, then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air. And so shall we ever be with Yahweh, you see? And where are we going to be meeting up in the clouds? In those ships. In the book of Revelation. There's another one. In a cloud. Yeah, Revelation 11 and 12, it says, and they heard a great voice from heaven saying, saying unto them, come up hither. This is talking about the deliverance for the elect. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud. That's a huge ship that Yahweh Shai is coming to deliver bros on. That's that chariot of salvation for the elect. It says, and their enemies beheld them. So it's coming to save the elect. Lord, will we be of those men? And it's coming to wreck ship on you heathen. And this is what these heathen are afraid of, man. That the ones that they saw in those chariots, they look like so-called Negroes. And this is what they've been doing to the so-called Negroes in the earth. Remember, Wisdom of Solomon, the 5th chapter talks about how they're going to be so amazed and astonished at their salvation, so far above all that they hope for. Right? How is he numbered among the saints when they see bros get the spiritual power, get beamed up as their kingdom is getting destroyed? Even before then, man, those chariots are going to fight for the believers. All type of stuff is getting ready to happen, man. Just believe, man. Just believe, man. The Lord is going to get us the fuck out of here, bro. Shalom.